Okay. Well, hello to our new sixth graders and our new students and their families. This is Dr. Nash. I'm your principal at Terracotta Middle School, and I'd like to introduce Mr. Dominguez. He is our assistant principal.
Hello, boys and girls and families. We're so excited to have you join us for the upcoming school year.
So what we want to do is we're going to hold our virtual orientation with you, which will come in two parts. This is part one, and then we'll be sending a link for part two. We know that, this is kind of a difficult time that we just don't know a lot of answers to. And moving forward, we're just sort of, taking things day by day. But we know that, starting middle school is a very big change, and we want you to be excited about it. We will lead you through it every step of the way. So we're hoping that this presentation will give you some very important information. Okay, so first of all, we are a 21st century school. Our teachers and staff focus on high expectations for delivering the standards to you. Our big focus is on critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. We're very fortunate to have one-to-one iPads in all of our classrooms, and we also have interactive TVs or Apple TVs in every classroom. So we love to collaborate. We love to do a lot of higher level thinking, and you'll see that once you get here, boys and girls. We are also an Abbot demonstration school, which means we focus school-wide on writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. And Abbot is something that you can join, and in our part two, you're going to be learning what Abbot is all about. All right, so starting middle school, even when it's normal out there, can be a little overwhelming, and that's to be expected. You're probably feeling, nervous, excited. It's a very big change, but just like elementary school, we're here to support you. You'll know exactly what to do, exactly where to go, and exactly who to seek out if you need help. So basically, we have this unusual time on top of it. So we're kind of waiting for directives and decisions as to how we move forward with the school year. So just relax and know that we'll inform you every step of the way. So there's a lot of things that happen in middle school. It's sort of that in-between time. We're not in elementary school anymore. We're not yet those young adults in high school. There's a lot of physical changes that happen, a lot of changes in the brain, lots of maturity that goes on, and lots of adjustments, but it's normal. And again, there's always people here to help you through. Academically, things are very different. You have, a lot of classes to go to, different teachers during the day. It can be obviously more challenging, but again, we're very clear on how to support and help everybody through the changes. The social emotional piece is really big. There's lots of hormones and lots of growth and changes that are happening. So it's a very exciting time. It can be a challenging time, but it's also very fun, and you will end up feeling just as comfortable here as you do at your elementary school. So parents, they're at this age discovering, who am I? They're wanting more independence, but at the same time, we want to make sure that you're very, very involved in middle school. That means, going through their phones and making sure you know who they're connecting with and who their friends are. There's a lot of self-esteem issues that can occur at this time. They want to fit into different groups, and obviously you get to make a lot of new friends. There's changes in your ability. You might try new things out in middle school and find out, do I like it? Do I not like it? And that's going to help you a lot to know what you're really excited about. But our students really want to fit in. So, we want to make sure that you understand that everybody is in the same boat. Everybody is going to be new in your grade level, and you will discover who your friends are. And we want you to choose them wisely in middle school. So that's the reason there's a lot of pressure. There's certain groups of students, that you want to surround yourself with, kids that are involved, kids that have a lot of interest, students that are focusing on their schoolwork and being kind and treating you nicely. You don't want to be pressured by anybody who isn't. So this is a time where you really have to pick and choose your friends. So Mr. Dominguez, I was hoping you could jump in with me on internet safety. There's lots of internet and apps that we use academically, but then there's also the internet safety we're concerned about when your kids are socializing and they're on Facebook or Instagram, things like that. We want to make sure that they are safe. Did you want to add something to that, Mr. Dominguez?
I think to echo Dr. Nash, what you said earlier, it's so important, parents, that you are leaning in during this time of your students' lives, checking their phones, staying up to date on latest social media apps, things like that. And there are so many things that kids, and so many temptations online that kids can become involved with. You really have to, stay upfront and, aware of the most recent things. And what they're up to on social media. So I often call their cell phones a tool of mass destruction because they can be used in so many productive ways, but they can also be used both for kids to hurt themselves and to hurt each other with. So it's one of those times in their life where they have this wonderful tool and not always the maturity to know how to use it in a responsible way. So please just lean in. We do have some information through the year that we can send to you in terms of not only apps that kids tend to get on, but also tools that you could have at your disposal that you could download to your phone or to theirs or both, that could help you stay a little more on top of what they're up to, because they are very creative at times on finding ways to get themselves into trouble on social media platforms. So just please, to reiterate what I said earlier, please take this opportunity to lean in, get involved in their social media use, also limit their social media use. They found that the same chemicals released in the brain of a student who might have an addiction issue are the same chemicals released when a student gets on their cell phone. So please just take that opportunity to lean in and be involved in their lives.
Perfect. So we want to talk to you a little bit about how the academic portion works. So first of all, normally during the summer, obviously we'd be doing this in person, this orientation in person. And then in the summer, we do send out a day where students are invited to, it's hosted by our web group, which on part 2, you're going to learn a little bit about what web is, but they're mentors, student mentors for our 6th graders. And usually we host orientation, and then you are assigned a day where you come, you pick up books, you get your PE clothes and lock, and your agendas, and you get your schedule. So this year, clearly things are different, and we're not yet sure how we're going to go about doing that. But once we do have those procedures and the requirements of our county put into place, we will let you know just as soon as we can how we will get all of that out to you. But just so you know, every student has a language arts, a math, a science, and a history class, and a PE and an elective class. Now, our sixth graders are a little unusual in that they have chord classes. So they will have one teacher for language arts and social studies and one for math and science. And then they will have their PE, and then they will have an elective. We offer an exploratory elective wheel that includes art, dance, computers, and Spanish. And those rotate every 12 weeks. We don't ask that you sign up for those because you will get to experience all those classes in the course of the year. But we do also have year-long electives. And in our part 2, we're going to have a lot of those teachers that teach those electives come on and kind of talk to you about it. But right now, if you watch Parent Square, we've been sending out a lot of applications and recruitment for those year-long classes. So if your student isn't going to be in one of those, they will naturally fall on the elective wheel. We also offer advanced classes. We offer special education classes. We have our English learner classes, and we have a variety of intervention classes. The way that we recruit for those with special education, we're holding lots of meetings, and we do that placement before the year begins. Our advanced classes, those students, we look at previous test scores, we get data grades, we get data and input from their previous teachers. And so we will automatically place students in those classes. Our English learners are, we have those levels for them, so they will be placed as their elective in an ELD class. And then finally, we have lots of intervention classes for math and language arts. Those students, we also look at three areas of, grades, SBAC scores, and teacher recommendation. And we do go ahead and place for those. So if your student is in one of these classes, that will be their elective. And you will find out as soon as we get the schedule. And let's see here. So we do offer Read 180 English Language Arts Intervention. We are doing, typically we have a 7th grade academy, and that's where a lot of the intervention goes, but we have also opened up 6th grade interventions for math and language arts, and we do have our 8th grade interventions as well. There are math interventions. We do have Mrs. Renderos, who is our intervention counselor, so she does work closely with those students. We have 2 other great counselors, Mrs. Venazzo and Mr. Delano, and all of your students will be assigned to a counselor. So if they have any academic problems going on or any social emotional concerns, those are the people that will get them in touch with. We do, some of you might be familiar with the After School Think Together program, and they will start recruiting for that and give you information on that. And that's something you have to do through an application process. Okay, we do have honors classes. We have advanced language arts, advanced math, and honors social studies. So these are classes that, again, we will look at a lot of data on, and we will place your students there. Okay, Mr. Dominguez, we're going to let you take over.
Thank you. So attendance is so critical in middle school because it just takes kids just a few days of being absent or getting behind due to absences where they will start to become frustrated academically and and struggle academically, especially in subjects like math, for example. So we monitor our attendance closely. As we go, students who, for example, are tardy to first period, they can receive consequences such as after or lunch detention and even after school detention. For kids who continue to have attendance issues, that meaning absences or tardies, we do have meetings called SART meetings where families come in to meet with me and our district attendance representative, and we discuss how we can support students and how we can support families to improve attendance. There are consequences at times that can be handed out for excessive absences, like after-school detentions, or even Saturday schools, where students come to school from about 8 a.m. till about 12:15 p.m. To do work and to get caught up because of the work that they've missed due to being absent. But what I want to stress is our number one goal is to support you as a family. We understand that sometimes things happen and kids are absent, but we are here for you. The number one piece of advice I would give you is to communicate with our office. Let us know if your student is absent or is going to be absent. So when we know how best to support you. So again, we focus on this, and there's an ultimate reason to this, is that we know that kids who struggle with tardies and absences in middle school, especially as they move up through middle school towards 8th grade into 9th, they have a higher rate of dropping out of high school. So we want to intervene as quickly as possible to support families and kids so that we can help them be successful in school. We do have a dress code, and some of our middle school kids think that when they come to middle school that, that all of the sudden they can dress like high schoolers. But we do have a dress code. It will be in the student agendas that we are in the process of putting together. I'll also be sure to go over the dress code with students, but please understand if students break the dress code, they will be asked to change their clothes and abide by our dress code. There are behavior expectations that I'll be reviewing with students as well. Those in part will be in the agenda. One very exciting thing I want to make sure that all of you know about is we do have an app called Stop It that I'll go over with kids. And it's basically an opportunity for students, if they are having issues with students at school or are witnesses to students bothering or bullying other kids, they can report it even anonymously online using their phone or a computer. And those reports go directly to Dr. Nash and to myself, and we can investigate those. So we just want to give kids access to us pretty much any time. I know I get reports from Stop It on weekends, before, after school, sometimes even in the evening. So it is a great tool we'll go over with you. But all of those things will be included in the agenda. As you can see on the slide, there are plenty of other ways that we try to communicate with you. Parent Square is one of the primary modes of communication, but we also have a web page that we'll be updating that we'll try to communicate with you on that. And we're also looking at other social media platforms, whether it be short videos or even a YouTube channel to communicate with you. So we want to try to have multiple ways to communicate, with Parent Square, of course, being our primary mode of communication. Also, the teachers have other modes of communication like Jupiter Grades, and you'll get to hear about that more and more as we get ready to begin the year. So there are plenty of opportunities for kids to get involved. We have our PTA, where kids can be representatives and be involved there, and parents as well. For our kids, we have something called Web that I'm so excited to have here at Terracotta, and you'll hear more from our web coordinators at a future time, Ms. Renderos and Mrs. Kennison. But Web stands for Where Everyone Belongs, and it's a program we have to connect 8th graders with 6th graders and help them feel supported here at school. We also have a program called PLUS, which stands for Peer Leaders Uniting Students. And it's a group of student leaders. Doesn't have to be students that have straight A's. It's kids who are influencers or leaders on our campus who work with other students during these things we call forums, and they work together to address issues on our campus. You'll be hearing more about that from our PLUS coordinator, Mrs. Jones. Of course, we have School Site Council that we do have student representatives on. We even have Avid. Our PE department has sports that they do, in which we compete against other middle schools throughout the year. There are leadership opportunities through our ASB. We also have a dance group. We have a band. Our band is highly successful and wins lots of awards. And we have other clubs such as our Equity Club on campus as well. One thing that's huge when you start the school year, you'll be hearing more about, is our pickup and drop off. So I will tell you, the upper parking lot can be a crazy place at the beginning of the school year. So my first and best advice would be for you to get here early, because about 7:10 to about 7:30, especially the beginning of the year, that parking lot can be a very busy place. We're gonna try to get signs out to show you where to go, but we'll have this slide posted too on our website, probably send it out Parent Square as well, just as a reminder. I would also recommend that you consider other places for pickup, such as our park area on the, which is adjacent to the lower campus. That's a place where a lot of students are picked up at, and even our lower parking lot near the PE, the basketball courts, I should say, in the gymnasium. But as you enter the parking lot, please remember to stay to the right. You can only drop your kids off on the outside lane, which is the lane furthest to the right. The inner lane is only meant to either drive through to leave or to drive through and park. You'll be hearing us out there telling you, if you're on the inner lane, if you're trying to drop off your students, not to do so. And that's because we want kids to be safe, because oftentimes kids will run across traffic from that inner lane to get to school, and if parents aren't paying attention, there could be an injury. So as you see on the bottom of the slide, students shouldn't cross traffic. They should be dropped off only on sidewalk areas once you've entered school. Now you'll notice as well that as you come onto campus, that you can drive actually through into the lower part of campus where the 6th grade students typically are. And there's areas where you can drop off on the lower part near the 6th grade area as well. But definitely as you're coming up through the upper campus, that inner lane or the lane to the left is not a drop-off area. Student expectations. So you'll hear some school-wide themes, as will the kids. Be respectful, be responsible, and give your best effort. Pretty much every expectation that we have for students revolves around those 3 areas. We also really stress character traits on campus, and we use the character counts model, which, as you can see, is a trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. And we weave those in through our school-wide themes and into our discussions and our assemblies and things throughout the day. But pretty much every expectation we have can fall under either these character traits or the themes of be respectful, be responsible, and give your best effort. In terms of cafeteria reminders, students, very important you memorize your lunch numbers. Parents, we want to remind you to fill out a new application for for students to receive lunch either at school or online. Kids, be sure you have your money out and ready when paying cash. Remember that lines could be long the first couple of days as kids are learning their ID numbers. Other things to remember, 6th graders, is you need to have a veggie and a fruit every day. Also, 6th graders, you actually eat your morning snack downstairs. And during lunchtime, yes, you come up to get your lunch, but unless you have an elective class up here after lunch, you'll return back downstairs to eat your lunch as well. So that is typically that's our effort to try to keep 6th graders as removed from the 7th and 8th grade populations as possible. If you get breakfast before school, you cannot get it at break. Important reminder, 6th graders. So if you come in and you're starved when you come on campus and you eat before the bell rings, that's considered your morning snack. And just remember, there are 3 lines to purchase at lunch, sometimes even 4. But mostly 3. We have 1 going into the cafeteria itself and then 2 on the outside. And so that's where we purchase our food at. And like I said, it's going to be a little difficult at first as you get to remember your number and go through the lines, but usually by the first week or 2 of school, kids are moving very quickly through those lines. And one of the things is that when you get your food, you need to find a place to sit and eat that food. We don't want you walking around and wandering around during the day. And we'll go into that more when we do our expectations assembly to begin the year.
Okay, so that's kind of a little bit about terracotta and what you can expect. Again, this is kind of our part one of the orientation. You should also get a link that will be part two. Again, that will be a lot of our year-long elective teachers and clubs, and your counselors will talk a little bit on there. So be sure that you're seeing both parts of this.
Mhm.
And again, we want you just to relax. We're going to give you guidance on how to get, our year opened. It's really based on what we're allowed to do given the circumstances right now. So the most important thing is that you're watching your parent square, and we will be guiding you through all of that. And we'll just have to see, what our new year looks like. But this is sort of our plan for now. And, it's okay to feel a little nervous, but also be excited because, we've seen so many sixth grade classes come through, and at first they're all, nervous about making the change. The parents are nervous, and very quickly it becomes your new home. And again, there's lots of staff that will, be there, be out, helping you find your way and know exactly what to do when you get here. So please try not to worry. And again, as soon as we know more information, we're going to be getting that out to you. In
Great.
the meantime, if you have any questions for us, you can contact us via email, and we'll be happy to, give you more information. We do have a terracotta Facebook, so if you want to go on, it's Terracotta's official Facebook. We try to post some information there as well. So that's it for part one, and look for that part two link. And we're very excited to get you here and get our school year started. We hope that you and your families are safe, and we will get through this strange time, and we're just going to have to take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, Mustangs, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Guys.